This podcast, along with other fine shows, is proud to be a part of the one and only Throwback Network. Please visit at throwbacknetwork.net. Also, this episode stars Mr. Doug McCoy, courtesy of McCoycast.wordpress.com. And now, enjoy the show.
Hello, my name is Zerbinator, and what you are about to hear is another part of a collection of audio journals that I've been recording from 1980, and I plan to go all the way to 1989. That's 10 years of my life, close to, that I seriously am going to try to cover for you, the listeners. Please keep listening. Today is Tuesday, May 31st, 1982, and we, which is my good buddy Doug, is back, and I are going to cover what has happened in the past month. We are going to have a darn good time, are we not, Mr. Douglas?
Well, we're going to have a time. Nothing else is going on, so.
And thank you.
Here we are.
So much for your enthusiasm. We'll cover the news, the technology, the music, and the movies. And we have a little bit of show and tell for you as well. So we have a lot to discuss in 30 minutes or more. So shall we begin?
Welcome to Zerbinator's 8289 podcast. This is a recorded journal dedicated to the history of the 80s. All music used in the 8289 podcast was written and performed by Manolis and can be found at www.iammanolus.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
8289.
please take your seats.
Are you ready?
We hope you enjoy the show.
8289.
The show is about to begin. Are you really ready?
So, Doug, welcome to 1982. You were here in 1981.
Yeah, you finally invited me after you had, most of America and parts of Europe over as well. So, like I said, it's acceptable to be back.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm glad to accept you back. And I appreciate you helping out for the month of May. May has been beautiful. It's been a beautiful summer. The only problem, of course, and we won't be talking about it too much in the news, but there's been a lot of trouble with the Falkland Islands and a lot of stuff going on over there, which is just too much to talk about, but we just hope things go the way they should.
Yes.
That's the best way to put it. But what have you been doing so far this beginning to hopefully a wonderful summer? Anything exciting?
Well, yeah, I just got my parachute pants back from the cleaners. I'd spilled a little bit of cherry slushy on them, so they're back from the cleaners. I love them. They've got plenty of zippers, as well as they give you that nice little zip, zop sound as you're walking. Looks great with my red Thriller zipper type jacket.
I see that.
Yeah. You see, I've got the jacket on. Yeah. I couldn't get the glove. Michael's got a glove on in the video, but I couldn't get the glove. But I've got the jacket. I've got the parachute pants.
Do you want to borrow my glove?
Anything. You have a couple?
Oh, well, I have a white glove that I dipped in glitter.
But yours is the right hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't work.
I'm sorry. It feels like the left if you put it on. Something like that. What else has been anything else going on?
That's about it for me. Once you got parachute pants and a zipper jacket, you've got it made in 82.
You got it going better than me. I was dared at the pool yesterday to talk to a hot chick. And I mean hot chick. This is not a mediocre chick. This was a hot chick. And I went over on a dare to talk to her. And we had been staring at her all day, listening to our 80s music. Thompson Twins, as a matter of fact. Hold Me Now, Hold Me in Your Loving Arms, which I don't even know if released yet, but when it is released, I will. Anyway, so I went over to the girl and I was like, hey, and I was honest with her, and that's what worked. I said, listen, you see my friends over there? She's like, uh-huh. She must have been about 19 or 20. I'm only 12. So I was like, those guys over there challenged me to come over and talk to you, and I'm nervous. And she told me to sit down. So I did. She said, come here and sit down. So I sat down with her, and she goes, so what are you doing? And I told her what I did in school. She goes, what are you going to be doing for summer? And I said, well, because school, we don't get out of school until like the 18th, I think, of this month. And she says, what are you going to be doing for summer? And I said, well, hopefully coming here more often and talking to you. And she goes, and my friends are like, whoa, he made her laugh. Because I was the man back then, which was a couple weeks ago.
I think it's those long flowing locks of yours that really, helped you out there. But so let me ask you this question.
Sorry, the hair was in my face.
Which is better, to actually get the girl or to impress your friends? Because you at least got the one, clearly you weren't going to get, A. But you at least got B out of the situation. So is B better than A, or would you prefer to have A?
B's better than A because B leads to going to school on Monday and then having all the other kids find out that Kevin hit it off with a 19-year-old woman, and just by hearsay, the miracle of pure hearsay. So that's much better, I think. I don't think I would have lasted with a woman of that age. I would think that would be too much maintenance, and I don't even have a car yet.
Yeah, that's probably true. It is amazing, though, how goddess-like these 19-year-old girls are to us here as 12-year-old young men. I imagine by the time we're 40, we won't think anything at all of a 19-year-old
woman.
Probably not.
Not of Athene Aphrodite. Not at all. Goddess like that. Not at all. So you want to go into the news?
Let's do it.
All right.
And now we will talk about current events.
So, Kevin, May 1st, a crowd of over 100,000 attends the first day of the 1982 World's Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is kicked off with an address by President Ronald Reagan. Over 11 million people are planned to attend during its 6-month run. So the World's Fair goes on for 6 months in Tennessee. One of our buddies went to it, actually. You know that kid down the street, Mark Alley?
Yeah.
He actually went to the fair. He thought he was going to see like a bear race or something there, but he just came back. He had this green foam on a piece of wire and said it was a lizard. And I didn't really see the resemblance, but he did say he got to play a lot of Miss Pac-Man, which is cool.
That is true, and that's something that he'll never forget. And I remember reading something about that also, but I can't really put it where I read it.
8289 will be right back after these messages.
Were you a geek? Were you a geeky when geeky wasn't cool? Don't stop the geeking by reading Mark Alley's book, Don't Stop the Geekin'. It was released April 7th, 2016, and is available for Kindle at Amazon.com. You can also check out his book, I Was Geeky When Geeky Wasn't Cool, written January 6th in 2015. Both books are $2.99 and well worth every penny. Check them out at Amazon.com or visit markalley.com. That's MarcAllie.com.
And now, back to 8289.
But yeah, well, I think it's amazing that he got a chance to go because all those people, it's so easy to get lost. But if you're carrying around that foam lizard, you know where you are. You know where you stand.
He guides the way. The lizard guides the way.
It really does. And what's this about President Reagan wearing a dress?
Oh, no, he is addressing the people.
Oh, undressing the people. Well, that's
much, much different. We're not talking about J. Edgar.
Undressing? Addressing.
Yes.
Over 11 million people are planned to expect to attend. Yes. I am so sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. Well, that'll be nice. Definitely. Do you know that on May 5th, a Unabomber bomb explodes in the computer science department at Vanderbilt University, and Secretary Janet Smith was injured. She's going to be okay, and I'm so glad that nobody got hurt. But, wow.
And now we will talk about technology.
In mid-1982, fuel injection is available. It's a system for introducing fuel into internal combustion engines and into automotive engines in particular. On diesel engines, fuel injection is necessary, if I understand correctly, that is the way diesel engines are going to work right now. While on petrol engines, or what we would call gas engines, fuel injection is an alternative to the carburetor. So you can still have carburetors, but you can have fuel injectors as well. Any preference do you have? Have you tried out the new fuel injection systems?
I like the fuel injection systems. I've heard about them, and the thing I like about it is that when you're revving or going up a hill, the power is immense compared to non-fuel injected engines. But the thing that I worry about is the smell. There's a really strong smell, and I don't know if that has to do with the fumes that are coming out of your exhaust from this fuel injection idea. I wonder if they're ever going to come up with some kind of blocker so that it doesn't stink so much.
Well, what I am concerned about is a whole generation. I mean, if this catches on, people in the future are not going to know the joys of cleaning a carburetor, or even beyond that, they're not going to know the joy of rebuilding a carburetor.
And that's another thing. But yeah, I think it can help and hinder at the same time.
There you go.
Do you know that also this month, insulin medication is now used to help people with different types of diseases? So your body produces insulin. Your pancreas produces it to keep your sugars in line. But a lot of people are getting the sugars nowadays.
Right.
Do you know what I mean by the sugars?
Are you talking about diabetes?
I'm talking about the sugars, diabetes. And people are getting it really bad, so this helps. It also helps in these ways too. And I'm gonna read something I read in a medical book. Here we go. It can help us with such as diabetic ketoacidosis and hypersomores hypoglycemic states. So basically, anything where your blood goes out of whack, this thing can help keep you stable and not pass out or die from a sugar problem that you might have from eating too much hot wings.
My only question is this as tasty as a Pepsi?
No. It hurts because they shoot it into your side, but I've never tasted it.
Oh, I thought you just drank it like when people's blood sugar gets low, they drink a Pepsi and, get them back up.
Maybe that, inject it into the Pepsi and it might help out. You want to go on to music?
Let's go on to music.
And now we will talk about music.
Well, on May 18th here in the music department, 3 weeks after disappearing, and I think I mentioned it last month that Joe Strummer from The Clash stages up and disappeared after being in Paris, and then they disappeared after doing something in the Paris Marathon. Well, they've been found. You know where they were?
Were they rocking the Casbah?
In Paris.
Oh.
Yeah. They were living in Paris.
Sense. So he disappears for 3 weeks, but really nothing happened to him?
No, he just
ran away from everybody?
With his girlfriend and said, you know what? Let's enjoy Paris, c'est la vie. And they did. They said la vie and they had some fun. And so be it. Que sera, sera.
I don't think that's French.
Oh.
On May 26th, the Rolling Stones opened their European tour in Aberdeen, Scotland, of all places. Now, as you know, Kevin, I'm of a Scottish descent, so I'm happy to see them playing in the mother country. I didn't get to see the concert, though, which is too bad. I would have loved to see Mick Jagger doing his infamous strut in Royal Stuart kilt.
That would have been great, because if you kicked high enough. You don't look Scottish.
Well, I'm short, I'm hairy, and I got a bad temper. So what part of me does not seem Scottish to you?
You're drinking a bottle of Asian rum, and that didn't make any sense.
The Scottish had no problem with Asia.
Oh.
It was England that we can't stand.
Oh.
And Rome. And Denmark.
Would you like to go on to the top 10 singles for the week ending? It was May 29th, 1982.
I can't tell you how much I would like to go along to the top 10 singles of May 1982.
Well, You know what we're going to do? We're going to go from number 10 to number 1, starting with Uncle Doug.
Number 10. All right, number 10 was Get Down on It by Kool and the Gang, which goes a little something like, get down on it, get down on it, get down on it, get down on it. That's
perfect.
Isn't there something like, what are you going to do if you really don't want to dance? Something to that effect.
Yeah.
But I know the chorus anyway.
You did that very, very well. And you did it in a minute, which is number 9. Number 9. Daryl Hall and John Oates'. Nothing to do with the food. RCA Records. You know you did it, you did it, you did it, you did it, you did it in a minute. You know you did it, you did it. I love that song.
I'm more a man-eater guy myself.
That's all right.
Number 8. Number 8 is Willie Nelson with Always on My Mind. Goes a little something like this. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind.
Whoa, it smells funny in here. Number 7, we finally got some British up in here. Number 7. And it's been a while, so I'm very excited about this. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh, hi, Jerry. By the Human League, A&M Records.
Number 6. Number 6, we've got Paul Davis with 65 Love Affair. I was car hop. You were there with the bebop. You said, ooh, wah, diddy, wah, do. All of those changes you put me through. Well, if I could go back again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know somehow we'd still be friends. I missed it. I messed up something.
Oh,
in that good. Wonderful 65 Love Affair. Rock and roll was simple and clear. Paul Davis, by the way, you familiar with him and his work?
I am a little tiny bit, but that song I love very much.
Well, that's a good one. But he does, he has the music stylings of Barry Manilow. Those are the kind of soft rock romantic songs that he does. And yet he has the appearance of Grizzly Adams. Have you seen? He's a huge, very hairy man.
Apparently the chicks dig it.
I don't know that I dig the chicks that dig the hair.
Well, that's understandable because they're Grizzly Adam-esque chicks.
Number 5.
Coming in at number 5 is The Other Woman by Ray Parker Jr., Arista Records. And it goes a lot like this. I know I had another woman. I say, who you gonna call? And that was The Other Woman by Ray Parker Jr.
Was that like the alternative lyrics version?
That was the extended jam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Number 4. Number 4, we've got Tommy Two-Tone giving away phone numbers all over the place. Little song goes, Jenny, I got your number. I need to make you mine. Jenny, don't change your number. 8675309. 8675309. Most famous phone number in history.
I love that.
Call it in every area code. See what happens.
Jerry doesn't like my singing, apparently. Oh. Okay, well, here is the next song, which is... It's I've Never Been to Me
Number 3
by Charlene with some really bad lyrics where she goes, I took the hand of a preacher man and we made love in the sun. And what in the world kind of evil demonic crap is that?
Making love in the sun sounds good.
But it's a preacher man. What in the world?
Now, theoretically, I would like you to suppose that theoretically I'm an adult and I have a wife. And again, theoretically, this song comes on the 80s channel of our car satellite radio system.
Mm-hmm.
And my theoretical wife has never heard this before. And I sing a little bit of the chorus for her, and she goes, "Oh my goodness, that's so stupid." Theoretical, mind you, but...
But doesn't she do what the lyrics are saying?
It's the chorus. I've never been to me.
I've never been to me.
I've never plumbed the depths of my inner soul.
Poor thing.
Yeah,
She shouldn't be telling the world about that. That seems like a personal problem you might want to sit down with a psychiatrist for and see if they have any meds.
Number two, we got Rick Springfield, soap opera heartthrob, singing "Don't Talk to Strangers." You familiar with this one, Kev?
Yes, finally.
My favorite part is when he goes, "Now who's this Don Juan I've been hearing of? Love hurts when only one's in love. And did you fall at first sight or did you need a shove? I'm begging you, please don't talk to strangers. Baby, don't you talk."
I love
Yeah, it's hard to do with one voice, but they do a little French in there too. And I don't know what the first part is, but I know that it's something like, well, I know they say "ce soir," which is tonight.
Ce soir.
That's about it.
Don't they also? And Jerry loved your singing, by the way. He was just blown away by that.
I'm not sure that's love.
Jerry, did you like his singing? All right, he said yeah. He did a whole thing in French. I think he did like Jesse's Girl in French on an album once. I think he's part French.
Really?
Springfield is a French name. It's also a gun.
Jessifie?
Yeah. I wish that I had Jesse's girlfriend.
Je veux, Jessifie. I think that's close.
I think that's Scottish.
I think that's pig French.
That was pretty good, though. Pig French. Coming in at number one, Ebony and Ivory. No, it's not the magazine and the soap. It's Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder from Columbia Records. Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony. Side by side on my piano keyboard. Right the re.
What do you think about Paul doing a song with Stevie Wonder?
I think that's pretty cool. I just hope that Stevie gets paid what he's deserved.
Well, I hope that Paul starts doing some songs with Michael Jackson. And then I hope he starts telling Michael Jackson about how much money there is in the music publishing industry.
And then maybe Michael Jackson will steal all the music from Paul McCartney. And then Paul McCartney will get the last word when he dies.
Never happened.
No. Hey, you want to go on to some album releases that we purchased this past month?
Yeah, I've picked up a couple. What about you?
I picked up a album.
Okay, what'd you get?
I got Chicago 16 by Chicago.
Okay,
and
what's on it?
Hard for me to say I'm sorry.
That's a good song.
I just want you to know. And let me say, love me tomorrow. Won't you please promise me, love me tomorrow like today.
Is that the Middle Eastern version that you're singing there? Because it sounded like a Middle Eastern man.
I did, didn't it? No, that's just the way I sing.
You know, for some reason, I associate that song with The Dark Crystal. You know the Jim Henson movie, The Dark Crystal?
How come you
I think maybe that was playing on the radio before we went to go see it. But every time I hear that song now, I think about, you know, Gin and Fizz Gig and the Skeksis and all of that.
That's pretty cool, though,
stuff.
that's your connection to it. So, I don't know. That's pretty interesting.
I picked up a numerically titled album myself. Mine's Toto 4. So Toto, named after the dog in Wizard of Oz,
right?
Or you know, the Latin word for all, depending on who you believe. But they're up to 4. So this is Toto 4.
That's much less.
Yeah, they're a little behind Chicago. In fact, they're
that's 4 times.
4 times. Yeah, 4 times less than Chicago. But great songs on Total. You've got Africa. I sailed the waves down in Africa. Great song there.
Yeah.
Only song I know of that talks about Mount Kilimanjaro rising like Olympus above the Serengeti. So you don't
beautiful?
Hear that too much.
Yeah, that's artistry written in musical form.
I Won't Hold You Back Now. Kind of a little softer ballad. You know I won't hold you back now. Yeah. Also got this song I like called Rosanna, and that's kind of like a ballad too, but it's much faster. All I want to do when I wake up in the morning is see your eyes, Rosanna, Rosanna. You know, they wrote it after a guy the one of the singers was dating, Rosanna Arquette. Is she at all familiar to you?
Not yet.
Sounds pretty to me.
Yeah, I like the Arquette part. I would think that her teeth would get annoying eventually. You want to talk about some movies?
And now we will talk about movies.
I love talking about movies, and I saw some great movies this month. Lots of great movies have been coming out this year. I really think that when people look back on cinema history, they're going to say 1982 is one of the best years there. I have a feeling 84 and 86 are going to be equally awesome. And 85 probably won't be bad either, but 82 is a good year. May 14th, I went and saw Conan the Barbarian.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's like a sword and sandal type movie. I guess there were some books. I've seen some of the books at the library and then the used bookstore, but I never really was into it that much. But they got this guy Arnold Schwarzenegger, former Mr. Olympia or world, big bodybuilder, and I guess he was in this movie called Pumping Iron. So Conan is a little kid, and he's like a barbarian. He lives out, and kind of like a Viking, I guess, lives out in these cold places. And James Earl Jones attacks his village and kills his mom and dad, and they take him captive, and they push this wheel around, and he grows into this bodybuilder, and then he gets a sword of his own and starts hacking and slashing. Really great movie. Loved it a ton. I think it's a classic.
That and I like that too because Arnold's huge. I've never seen. The Incredible Hulk was awesome. This guy's huge.
Yeah, well, he's about the size of the Incredible Hulk, I think. And there was like all these bikers in there with me as we were watching me, all like motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
And when you first see Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he starts out as a little kid, of course that's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but
right.
When he pushes the wheel and he gets bigger and bigger, and then one time he looks up and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and these motorcycle guys went nuts. They were clapping and shouting and cheering. They loved this Schwarzenegger guy. I like him too. I don't think we'll see very much of him because he talks funny and nobody can spell or pronounce his last name, but he was good in this one.
It's O'Brien. Oh. But, I saw the Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid movie with Steve Martin, and this is a very, very strange movie.
Yeah, I've heard it. I don't like to drop my money on comedies. I'm more the action guy. Yeah, I really don't know much about this at all.
Well, this is something where they take a lot of clips from other movies. I mean, listen to the cast. Ingrid Bergman, Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney, Joan Crawford, Bette Davis, Brian Denolly, Kirk Douglas, Ava Gardner, Cary Grant, Alan Ladd, Veronica Lake, Burt Lancaster, Charles Lofton, Fred McMurray, Ray Milland, Edmund O'Brien, Vincent Price, Barbara Stanwyck, and Lana Turner. All of these people are in this movie, and the reason being is because this movie stars Steve Martin as the regular dude, and they keep taking these clips from all the old films, the old 1940s and 50s film noir movies and the pulp detective films, and they splice them into this while Steve Martin acts around it. And it's a Carl Reiner film, first of all. That's awesome. You got Carl Reiner making the movie. Father of who? Bob Reiner.
You mean Rob Reiner?
That's what I said.
Oh.
And Steve Martin is just kicking it. He is so lucky to be in a film with all these famous actors.
So is he the only modern actor in the movie, or are there anybody else that's you see, is he the only one that filmed new footage for the movie?
No,
or were there other
Rachel Ward is in this film as well.
Oh, Well, you didn't mention
I was
Rachel
getting to
Ward.
that. You just had to ask some questions.
Rachel Ward would have been
and she's
a major selling.
She's cute,
Oh my goodness!
but not as cute as Rennie Santoni.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either, but I thought it would be comic gold, and it surely was not comic gold. But yes, Rachel Ward is eye candy. That is just dandy. And the plot is pretty cheesy. It's a noted scientist and cheesemaker dies. Single car accident, single vehicle
Did you say
car accident.
noted scientist and cheesemaker?
That's right. John Hay Forrest, played by George Gaines. And I could go on, but I'm not. And it's just a great film. If you get a chance to see this, please watch it. And there's just so many clips from other things. Barbara Stanwyck from the movie Sorry, No, Wrong Number. Ava Gardner from The Killers is in there, and scenes from The Killers is in there. Ingrid Bergman from Notorious, and scenes from Notorious in there. And it's perfectly played out so that everything meshes together as if all these actors and Rachel Ward and Steve Martin were in this film at the same time. And it was brilliantly done. Carl Reiner.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, highly suggest it. My wife hates when I say that. Do you want to go on to some show and tell?
Yeah, let's do show and tell.
All right.
And now we will have a little show and tell.
Let's do this freestyle.
Okay. What do you mean?
I don't know. That's just what I typed. Do this freestyle. Any toy from 1982, even if it doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
So,
This is my Flibberty-Dee.
is it?
Yeah.
I have a sound for that. All right. So, what do you got?
So there's this other movie coming out. It's not out yet, but it's called Tron. It's going to be out in a couple weeks, and it looks awesome because
Disney, right?
I guess. What? Yeah.
Right.
They're inside a computer or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're all like neon blue or red or something. Well, Tomy has made some action figures, and I have one here. And as you can see, so this is Tron.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks like he did because in the movie they're all like shiny neon, and so he's like the action figure is like translucent plastic, but it's also got this kind of reflective paint that it makes him kind of look like they do in the movies. And you see he's got his frisbee, and it's glow in the dark, and it attaches on his back. There's Tron, there's Flynn, there's Sark is the bad guy, and they all have frisbees. And then there's a guard bad guy, and he has a pole, but they all glow in the dark.
Yeah.
They're all translucent. Like Tron is like light blue, I think, and Flynn is like purple or vice versa. And Sark and the guard are both red. And I think those are the only 4 action figures there are, but they're really, really cool looking. I just love the look of these action figures, and so that's what I have for show and tell. My Tron
That is awesome.
action figure. Yeah.
Now, these things are very, like, fluorescent-y, and I have some of those posters you put in the black light. And
Oh, yeah.
I stare at those aimlessly when I am singing Willie Nelson music. And I was wondering if the same thing would happen with these characters. Would they, can I borrow these tonight when I'm listening to my Willie Nelson music?
Yeah, put them under your black light. I've heard that they look really cool if you put them on top of like a light and the light shines up through them.
Oh, cool.
And it kind of like have you ever stuck a flashlight in your mouth to see the blood vessels? Yeah, I mean, I guess it
Sure.
sounded kind of similar. Really cool action figures. You can't see through your Star Wars action figures like this, so I think they're cool.
I bought the Magnavox Odyssey 2. I never had an Odyssey 1, but do you know what this is? It's like a gaming system. I mean, check this out. It's huge. And it's got all kinds of games that come with it. All I got so far was the Frogger, and then I got the Q-Bert. But it's a home video game console. I know you're an Atari fan. I can't afford that right now.
Yeah, I don't understand. What is it?
It's made by Magnavox. It's called the Odyssey, and it's like the Atari. It's their answer to Atari, and it's like when you buy Yikes instead of Nikes because you live in the poor neighborhoods.
So you got an Atari?
No, it's called the Odyssey 2 by Magnavox.
I don't understand.
It's a video gaming system it's a second generation, mind you, but it's like it has a little bit of an Atari feel to it, but not quite. And you can play video games on it like you do the Atari.
I've never heard of such a thing.
It's really cool. And as you hear right now, I'm playing Frogger. You can see Frogger on the screen. You see it?
So it's an Atari.
No, it's not an Atari at all. It's made by Magnavox, and it's called the Odyssey 2.
And it plays video games.
Right.
And it has Frogger.
And it has Frogger and Qbert.
And Qbert.
That's all I bought so far. There's a lot. There's Atlantis. You can buy Atlantis for it.
So it's an Atari.
No, actually, it's the Magnavox. It's Odyssey 2 by Magnavox. It comes with 2 controllers. Try it here.
I don't understand.
Well, you want to go on?
And now it's time for the video game of the month.
So would you like to go on to the video game of the month?
Yeah, let's do it.
I guess Frogger's not it.
No, not Frogger, not Qbert, and not the Odyssey. No, what I got is an Atari game, as it should be. It's called Yar's Revenge. It just came out.
Yeah.
And it's really great. It's an original game. So, like some games like Pac-Man and Centipede, they've been in the arcade. Well, Yar's Revenge only exists on the only home video game console there is, which is the Atari VCS.
Yeah.
Now, an older me might one day discover that it was actually derived out of an attempt to port Star Castle to the Atari 2600, but for all I know, it is a brand new original Atari VCS game. So you play as this fly, but you're a space fly, and you're in outer space, and you can shoot things out of your mouth, and you have to attack this guy that's behind a pyramid, and he sends a missile to come get you, and every once in a while he turns into like a fireball, and that comes and gets you. And there's a neutral zone you can go in where you're safe from the missile, but you won't be safe from the fireball. And you have to eat enough of his shield, or you can shoot it as well, but you got to eat enough of it. And then that gives you a missile of your own, and if you've worked the way through his shield, you can fire the missile at him, and that'll kill him. And it's a lot of fun. After I kill him, I always take my little fly and I do this like victory dance. I'm always like all around the screen. But it's a lot of fun game. It comes with a comic book as well. This awesome comic book describing the fly's home planet and how like they used to be.
That's this thing.
World home. Yeah, right there. There you go. So you see, they used to be regular flies on Earth, and they accidentally got in a space shuttle, and space radiation turned them into these, flies with legs and arms, and they can eat things and turn it into energy and blow stuff up with it. I think it's tons of fun. It's up there with, Pitfall and Combat and River Raid and all the Atari games that we love. I think it's a great game.
Now, this fly in a dress, did you draw that?
Yeah, that was a little addition.
Let me ask you this. Does it come out in this game come out for the Odyssey?
It's out for Atari.
Hey, Doug, I want to thank you so much for helping me out again. You pulled me. This is the third time that you've been on an 80 to 89, aside from all the times that you've hosted the Video Game of the Month, which I thank you for before.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah. So thank you. And thank you for listening to this cassette tape. Thank you so much. And please remember, again, you can get these at the Highs, the Dots, the People's Drugs down there on the main streets. Pick them up at your local library. They're found almost all over the world, especially in the United States, but also in Greece now, too. You're happy about that, aren't you, Doug?
Oh, yeah. Grecian people deserve some entertainment.
That's true. And any place close to you that you can find these cassette tapes?
We got them at Hills. I put a couple out at Hills. I put a couple out at the Woolworths that we have in the Westland Mall, Gold Circle.
Oh,
I've
nice.
put some, I put some out there as well. So
thank you so much too for that. And I really hope that this definitely sheds a little bit of light right here on the life in the 80s. Definitely we'll continue to do these journals from month to month as time goes on. When we find all the great news and entertainment and technology and video games and all of the show and tells that we can find. I look forward to seeing you all again. And until next month, this is Doug saying...
B2B, that's all, folks.
All of Zerbinator's music and podcasts are under the Creative Commons license, which allows retelling and rebroadcasting as long as the author is notified and credited. For more great escape pods, please visit www.zerbinator.wordpress.com. If you would like to contact Zerbinatorland, you can send an email to instrumentally@gmail.com or give us a call at 571-408-ZERB or 9372.
That was named after a character on Star Trek where it's like, something in the moonlight catches my eye. The shadow of a lover goes dancing by, looking for a little bit of love to grow. So give me love, give me heart and soul. You never let me cross to the other side now. I'm tied to the hope that you will somehow. Hard on the heels of something more, but I lost your love. Hard and so I can do the whole song.
At least I got an outtake for the end of the show. That's for sure. You're scaring me there. If you could see his face, ladies and gentlemen, you wouldn't eat dinner nor breakfast the next day.
Oh, my goodness. Let's move on.
All right.